As Canada's workforce ages, employers will be faced with skill shortages, possible performance-related issues, and potential conflicts. Neena Gupta, a lawyer with Gowlings, says HR needs to be ready to deal with all of this.
The reality is our workforce is getting older, and Canadian women are not replenishing the workforce as fast as they used to, and so effectively we're going to have to keep older workers in the workplace, and we are also going to have to adjust to the fact that there's going to be age-related decline in certain areas and effectively, proactively deal with that.
So how should employers respond?
I think what we used to believe is that people would work till about age 60 or maybe age 65 and then they would retire. And what HR managers would do is sort of allow employees to maybe slow down, maybe not perform as well, not have tough conversations about productivity or efficiency with employees that were over 58, 60, 62, because we all knew they were going to retire and would resolve our problems. Well, that doesn't occur anymore, and you could have that 58-year-old for another 20 years. So shift number one is having honest conversations about productivity and contribution and performance with all your employees, including your older employees. The other thing I think HR is going to have to do is focus on training. All our skills get obsolete after a certain point in time, and so we have to create a culture of continuous learning and continuous improvement in order to ensure all our employees, particularly our 55-plus employees, are productive and effective in the workforce.
Neena says it's possible for employers to match compensation to productivity.
In the old days, we sort of said, okay, you start at age 25, and as you age, you get increases, you've put in more years at work, you presumably are better at your job. And there's studies that show that, in general, somewhere around 20 years of service, you're kind of getting paid exactly what you're worth. And after that, you're getting paid more than you're contributing. So, how do we keep people incentivized to contribute? And I think one of the things we should do is look at the design of our compensation plans. Instead of automatically assuming that increases in wage and compensation and benefits go with years of service, let's look at objective, measurable contributions to the workplace. What do we want our employees to do? And let's reward the employees that do that regardless of age.
So what options do employers have for rewarding their employees?
Well, I mean, money is a good reward, but it can also be increased vacation, flexible work arrangements, it can be increased access to training and skills development, it can be a whole host of levers that HR uses to compensate and incentivize their workforce.
But what if some members of that workforce are apprehensive to change?
You then have to use a different set of tools, and some of those tools include performance management. In other words, you have to treat an older employee who is perhaps recalcitrant or unreceptive exactly the way that you would treat a 20-something or 30-something that is recalcitrant and not helpful. And there's some really good case law which essentially says you can't just say, oh, they're over 50 and therefore we're not even going to bother with that performance improvement piece because, well, you know, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? And the reality is we are going to have to teach an old dog new tricks because that 58-year-old may be in your workplace for another 20 years.